Alright, so we're going to look at this butterfly again. Now, we're going to try some selections on this image. Selections is another one of the main concepts that really make Photoshop a powerful program. Layers, layer masking, those types of things really set it above and beyond other softwares. Selections, you'll notice there are a couple up here. There's rectangular, elliptical, single rows, there's lasso, polygon lasso, magnetic lasso. There's a quick selection tool. If I hold that down, as well as the magic wand. And they can all be used to help you make a selection around a specific object. So I'm going to try and use a couple of them just to show you how this works. So I'm going to start with the rectangle, and I'm just going to draw it over the butterfly. And you'll now notice I have the marching ants going around it. When I first choose the rectangle, I get options, so I'm just going to hit Command D or Control D to deselect. I'm on the rectangle selection tool now. You can notice there's a feather. So that's kind of like the hardness we found with the brush tool. It will feather the edge of the selection. I can go with a fixed ratio and then type it in. Right now it's 1 to 1, so you'll notice that's a square. And I can go to a fixed size where I could just punch in whatever size I want. And notice I can move it around, but I can't change the actual size by dragging the corners. So I'm just going to leave it at normal because I can go wherever I like with that. So I'm going to start with that. There's my selection. If I went Command C or copy, Command V paste, you'll notice there's my selection. So I'm just going to go back to the original. I'm going to dump this layer here, go back and make another selection. And I'm going to add to this square using some of the other tools just so you can see them and how they work. I'm going to choose the elliptical tool, and I'm going to hold down shift, and I'll put the cursor over the part here, the orange part of the butterfly. You can see when I hold down shift I get a plus. So that means I'm going to add to my selection. So I can drag this over like this, release, and it's added that to my selection. I can do another elliptical tool. Oops, I need to hold down shift first. I add another plus. There it goes. And I'm starting to build or grab parts of this. There we go, butterfly. Okay, now that's not the best way to do it. I just wanted to show you how you can add to an original selection. If I hold down Alt, you'll notice I get a subtraction sign. So if I hold down Alt and I draw a circle on the inside, now I've actually deselected that center part. So if I go Command C or copy, Command V paste, you can see I've got a circle or a hole out right in the middle of this selection. Okay, now it's kind of useless for what I'm trying to do, so I'm just going to drag that and get rid of it. And those are your basic shape tools for selection. Your freehand or more drawing tools for selection are the lasso, polygon, and magnetic. Lasso tool is really, and again you'll notice there's feather, just a freehand drawing tool. So whatever you draw, even if your hand shakes a ton, will be part. So I'm just going to do a quick outline of this one wing, and there it is. I'll hit Command C, Command V, and there's my wing that I've selected. You'll notice there's kind of a crappy edge. It's kind of soft because I had a little bit of feather on, and this is a very low res image. So let's just back that up. So I'm going to turn that back on, dump that layer. Oops, get out of there. So I can draw with my freehand for the lasso however I like. I can subtract by holding down Alt, so I can get rid of pieces if they're not accurate enough. See how I did that? So if I want to add to this wing part, I'm going to go down. Oops, I go a little too far. I connect it up with the other one, and now I want to chop off this piece on the bottom, so I'm going to hold down Alt, and I'm just going to go around and get rid of it. And I can start to refine my selection that way. I can also use the polygon being a geometric shape. So if I just click and drag, you'll notice it works in straight lines. I hit a left click, it puts an anchor point, and I can draw any shape I want. Okay, if I try it again, I'm going to make a triangle. If I just double click before it's closed, it will automatically fill or complete the selection tool. Let's do it one more time. So we'll do a crazy one. So I'm going to do something like that. And now there's this big gap here I haven't filled yet. So if I just double click, it goes in and fills it. Again, I can Control C, Control V, and that'll show you what selection I have. Okay, so we'll get rid of that layer. The last one is kind of cool, and it works really well in high contrast images, or images where there's a really defined line. That's the magnetic tool, and it likes to grab that hard edge there. It's very comfortable with that. It's not so effective in something like the green leaves behind. And you can put little anchor points by hitting left every now and then. You can try and go around the whole shape, but the problem is if you slip, oops, now you've got it down there. So I can just put anchor points periodically. It likes to grab the edges. As long as you can stay pretty close, it's not too bad. And there. That's not a bad quick selection. And then I can use my other tools like the lasso. I can switch back and I can try and add this piece. So I hold down Shift, go around it, do it again, and then I'm adding to the selection. Okay, so there's a couple different tools to use there. You'll notice the magnetic. I'll just back up a bit here. Control D. If I try and grab something like this leaf in the background, it doesn't do a bad job. Of course, it's probably going to do a great job just to, now there, see it jumped across. It has a little bit of trouble. So it's not a bad tool, but you have to know kind of when to use it. And again, a double click will complete the selection. I'm just going to hit Control D or Command D to deselect. Some of the neater tools are the Magic Wand tool and the Quick Selection. The Magic Wand is cool. It's a lot like a bucket fill. So you notice there's a tolerance just like bucket fill. So if I put this at 1 and I click on a green, it grabbed a pixel. That one little dot there. Okay, it grabbed a little bit more because those color tones are closer. Okay, if I up that tolerance and I include more colors, say I say 15, notice it grabs a larger selection. And I can hold down Shift and get a plus sign on this, so I can add and just keep adding to my selection. Okay, so that's one way. So again, the Shift and Alt, if I want to subtract colors, I can do that. If I up the tolerance even higher, 32 or 50 or whatever, I can start to make larger selections. The only problem is you have to be careful because it will grab everything. It doesn't really distinguish where edges are necessarily. It just grabs everything that's close in color. So if I grab in here, notice it grabbed all of this, and maybe I only wanted a piece. The nice thing is I can click on all these inside pieces and just keep adding to that selection. Okay, that's kind of the neat tool, Magic Wand. And lastly, or lastly, we'll do the Quick Selection tool, and I'll try and get this is just like a brush. You just click on things and it makes the intelligent decision. I believe this is a new tool to CS5, so it works pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Some different brushes up here, brush sizes you can work with. So I'm just clicking on everything that's orange. So that might be the tool for the job. Really have to get in there and play to understand how the selection tools work.